So I'm over here with Janet, and so one of the things that she was talking about how so many people are stuck in their phones, and they lack
Hmm.
fellowship, they lack connection with people, right?
Right. Well, I'm on my phone.
Yeah.
Let
So
me get a selfie. So.
so the illustration of, there was a illustration about these people like that lived in the mountains in like eastern China, whatever, and then they asked how did they what was the secret for them to live healthy, long lives, and it wasn't the food, it was the community. So many people are on their phones and they're in their bubble, and that really affects their health, right? You think?
Oh, 1000%, yes. It said people who isolate themselves die younger. Because
Yeah.
we're creature like we humans have always been very in communities. That's how we survived before, was being together. And if you were alone, you would die quicker. So yeah.
Yeah, and so like some of you guys, like a friend of mine, he told me that he calls his dad every single day because he never really took time to spend time with his mother. Then all of a sudden his mother passed away, so he
Oh,
called
so
so he
sad.
says every night he calls his dad and says he loves him and all that. He said he did it for like 7 years because he regretted that he didn't spend that time with his mother. And then his father passed away probably about a month ago. you know and so sometimes we get so busy. Janet mentioned something about how the matrix makes you feel like you have to keep working to survive and not living in the present, right?
Yeah, they always make you focus on the future, like, oh, I gotta be here, I gotta do that, I gotta more, and just not be in the now. And the only moment we truly have is the now. Past and future is just an illusion. So the Matrix is always trying to get us not in the now so that we don't realize that none of that even matters, And true happiness comes from being in the now and realizing that the now is perfect. We don't need anything, it's already perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of times we get stuck into these thought loops because we think about these stinking thinking things, and we don't have fellowship. We don't have somebody to banter these thoughts. You feel like you're the only one that's going through it. And hanging out with Janet and just talking to her, that's like my spiritual sister. It's really opening my eyes that a lot of times we think what we're going through is like the end of the world. When you learn that there's other people out there that's doing so many, so much worse things. Like, what are some things with you, Janet, that I wanted to ask you that, you know, it, you coming here in Puerto Rico, and what have you seen? Because a lot of times when you meditate and and everything is quiet, and when you're not busy like everyone else, you see things that other people don't see because they're too busy. But when you stop it in the present moment, you notice that there's like, you have this download, like this revelation. What are some of the things that lately that has been downloaded to you that the world just doesn't see, but you can see things in the spiritual eyes, like anything, any epiphanies,
Huh. That was a long question.
Yeah, like I remember you mentioned earlier about how like America and how you needed to get out, and that was a revelation that's falling apart, something like that.
About America, yeah, just the whole system of like the healthcare system is just horrible, and um, I just don't like America. To just promote, like, I feel like the Matrix everywhere, like even just being in the airport, it's like you're being sold this, that. Like I can't like find true like peace because everything's fighting for my attention.
Fighting for your
And I
attention,
just
yeah.
like, bro, like I just want to like close my eyes and just be still with myself, and it's hard to do that because like it's hard to find peace and quiet. And that's why I come to Puerto Rico, because peace and quiet and in nature, and it's just beautiful. And I just, I do have some peace and quiet, like at home. Like I take baths and I read my books and I have my little library, but I'm just like from day to day things, it's like I'm being pulled in every direction and it's just very stressful over there. And I find a lot of people in America are very stressed and tired, and we keep doing it. We're like a lot of people are very unconscious about it, and I find I'm now very conscious about it because you know I do shrooms and they make me very aware of every thought I have and every action I do, so they kind of help me realize all this stuff. So that's why I really promote like microdosing mushrooms, because they're just amazing. Like they put you so in tune with nature and with earth, and they very like ground you and like humble you and just make you realize the little things, like the little ladybug walking by, or like like the birds going and them talking. It's like the little things like that a lot of people aren't aware of because they're not present. They're too in their head worried about, oh, like I gotta get this for dinner and I'm in traffic and oh my god, there's no parking. I lived that life. It's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible.
And so another thing too, what I was talking about earlier about communicate about fellowship, community. Like there's people that live in the Chinese Eastern Islands, how they live long because they have that community. A lot of people that are sick, they're in the hospitals because they have nobody to express their feelings and stuff like that. Like I hung out with Janet all day today, and she could have 1,000 podcasts. I mean, like she has a lot of amazing stories, and she could talk. And she did make a comment. She was like, I do like to talk because she said that she likes, that's her way of being able to like express herself. And I think you do a lot of journaling as well.
Yeah, I write a lot.
And a lot of people don't have that outlet to be able to communicate their thoughts to someone else because they're stuck in this bubble, and that does affect your health. Me as an Uber driver, I like talk to like people all the time, like, so that's something that I forgot. Like this is actually healthy. It being an Uber driver is healthy. I get to be in the sun, vitamin D. But that example, like people ask me like why you're doing Uber, so I could live longer, because I have constant fellowship with the Uber riders.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are lonely. A lot of people don't go outside. A lot of people don't connect. Like a lot of people are scared to talk. Like I've been there. I used to have social, especially my generation. Like we grew up a lot on the internet, so we don't know how to communicate and talk to like other people. And
wow, that's interesting. You grew up in the internet, so it's hard to communicate, to talk to other people.
Yeah.
I grew up where there was no. I grew up where there was no internet.
Yeah. So I remember like there was a point in my life where I had zero friends. I probably had like 1 or 2 friends, but I was scared to speak to people. I was scared to talk, but it's because like my whole life I've always been like put down to talk. Like, oh no, like don't talk. Like I don't know. Like I never felt like anyone wanted to hear me, so I just didn't talk.
So you see that, like, I'm Generation X, she's Generation Z, right? And that and they grew up in this digital world, so they don't have social skills, and that's why there's a lot of people in the Generation Z. They're having a lot of mental illness because they have nobody to express their feelings and stuff.
Also, the phone is also fucking people's heads up.
Yeah, like the phone's messing up. It's warping their mind because they're, with AI, they don't know what's real and what's not.
It's just dumbing us down. The phones are dumbing us down. That's truthfully what it is. It's dumbing, like making us disabled. And like, the phones are kind of, they do psychology on us. They know how to suck us in and take our time and attention like that. They're like designed to do that, So it's like if we just constantly scrolling, you're just dumbing yourself down and making yourself very susceptible to being programmed by whatever you're watching and whoever. There's a lot of people online that are like not being very conscious of what they're putting out. Like you can, like it's just being on your phone without real intention isn't the best. you know.
Yeah. So it's already about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode. But most importantly, if you're stuck in this bubble, not having friends and socialize, get involved with some type of community because you live longer, it's healthier, and it helps you get out of these thought loops that you're not the only one going through what you're going through. Stay safe, be positive. Peace.